second example of non-contact abuse is not taking proper measures to prevent a child being exposed to sexual activities by others. Penegrin didn't tell the people doing the art for Spoctor that he was too young to be accepting, despite knowing that he was asking people for it. She didn't make a video, she didn't tweet about it, she didn't contact DeviantArt about it, she sat on her arse and made a vague journal that revealed and did nothing. You guys understand why I looked at this video and thought this was such a juicy tidbit? Expose one deviant weeb and you expose them all!
Another person in the ArtCC has been outed as a bad— I can't do this. Hello, my name is Toastify. Let's get you caught up. Last time we went over the career of SpoctorTech, a YouTuber of 300,000 subscribers who made videos about animation and art community drama. If you're an old head, you may know that Spoctor was once made in 2018 over grooming claims. At the ripe old age of 16, he came under attack from 3 creators: Atari, Pentegrin, and Stories. Spoctor was soon vindicated, in part thanks to Sprocket, a tiny creator who pointed out various flaws in those initial claims and the audience's reaction. Ponder saved Spoctor's career, and would make her own in the process. Along the line, Spoctor would get into more controversies and leave the internet. Months after he left in April 2023, a call from 3 years ago leaked. In said call, Spoctor admitted to having a relationship with a fangirl of his named Spooder. They started dating when Spoctor was 16 and she was 13, and had been on and off over the years. Spoctor also admitted to possession of explicit pictures from when Spooder was 13. Those pictures remained on a flash drive, which Spoctor only destroyed a few months after he turned 18. To the most observant of onlookers, this was no surprise. Spoctor had come under fire years earlier. Back in December 2019, a small YouTuber named Manis published claims and evidence about Spoctor, supported by his former associate Shygal. Many of Manis and Shygal's claims lined up with what we heard in the call, and as it turns out, that call happened out of fear of Manis' video. So those are the general starting notes for all new viewers who haven't seen part 1, or you've seen part 1 and you forgot what happened. Don't worry, the first Spoctor video is not required viewing, but you may be a bit blindsided by some of the other points brought up. Today's video, which is part 2, is not just about Spoctor, but also around him and the company he kept. His little secret, if you want to call it that, wasn't limited to the people within his admission call in 2020. It went way beyond that, and it seems several eyes were turning away, covering up what he had done despite him being in a very dangerous position. In some instances, they seemed to enable him. This video entails to go over all leaks available and paint you a picture of how this conspiracy of sorts unfolded. Alright, the best way to convey this information is to take you through my eyes, the way I saw it, because when I started researching the idea of a Spoctor video, I could always see some open-ended links that signified a lot more. To start off with, people knew about Spoctor and Spooder's relationship long before Manis' video. In fact, you can go back to 2018 and the Stories Atari Pentegrin drama to see her first mentioned. In their group chat, Stories, one of his accusers, listed Spoctor's quote-unquote victims. This includes herself and Spoctor's ex-girlfriend Ghosty, 2 allegations that were basically disproven. But she also talks of his weird fangirl named Spooder, but she allows it, SMH. Pentegrin responds, remembering how Spooder joined a mob against someone with baseless claims. She then says that she won't be looking into Spooder because she thinks she's an idiot. Good reasoning, Pentegrin. Another reminder that Spoctor being guilty does not give these morons any retroactive purple hearts. Back then, no one blinked twice at this screenshot, as the narrators were already proven unreliable. Its only use was to highlight the irony of Pentegrin disliking others for jumping on accusations with no evidence.
That while the original exposed video claimed that Spoctor had been doing this to many people, and they had heard about it from these people, it was actually only Stories and Ghosty. There was one other person Stories made note of who wasn't actually making any complaints against Spoctor. So that was also a lie. Also, can we just appreciate that Pentegrin saying that someone hate mobbed against an alleged pedophile, despite there being no evidence, and uses that as a reason to say that they shouldn't use her and she's a simpleton? And yet...
Moving ahead, when the call of Spoctor admitting to having illegal images was first leaked, many people were implicated. This includes, of course, Junkie and Feghost, 2 of the 3 stooges in that call, and 2 of Spoctor's closest friends at the time. But the weird part is that a lot of other people claim to know about this flash drive admission. This includes smaller art creators like Holy Majesty and Flat Eye Sky. Even Spoctor's Discord moderators confirmed to Liar Convoy and Hopeless Peaches that they had some knowledge about it. So, 2 of Spoctor's closest friends friends knew, as well as some small fringe creators and Discord moderators. Obviously these links don't add up without some messengers in the middle, and that's where we begin. To Spoctor, Ponder Sprocket was the person who saved his whole career, and for the art commentary community, she's seen as a reliable pair of hands with a mature view. But in the 2020 leaked call we saw with Spoctor, Phagos and Junkie, we can make out Spoctor basically pleading and begging for Ponder to come and rescue him.
So like, what is Ponder saying? She didn't even like talk to me about it at all.
Yesterday, she was reading through the messages that you and her had. It seemed like you were trying to get her to defend you in the future in case this comes out.
Yes, because I'm terrified. You think Ponder's gonna do anything?
I don't think it is. Unless, like, you make a video about it.
I do want to talk to Ponder, though. I want to clear things up. If I can, at some point. But if she'll even respond.
I wouldn't say Ponder would do that, because that's not really in Ponder's nature.
But I do want to talk to her about it.
I would.
The audience saw this as a pathetic attempt to placate Ponder, and thought it to be him just reaching out again. We all thought Ponder was never coming down and saving his ass for him. Well, what that call doesn't show is that in the last 4 months, Spoctor had been telling Ponder about everything. Let's have a read of this first conversation from the 7th of September 2019. Just a quick note, most of this was already edited, and then someone managed to find the images in the actual DMs between Ponder and Spoctor. For the sake of my ease and your comprehension, these images will be popping up in the bottom right corner when they're referenced to, but I won't be reading them out. Image attachment. Wait, what? Boy, that's suspicious as all hell. It's, an old friend. Did you end up contacting them back? I'm trying, but I'm kinda scared, cause this might be about something I did a couple of months ago, cause I'm stupid, and I hurt a couple people. What happened? I was in a relationship, and well, I cheated for a month. I made up with my ex and everything, but the person I was cheating with isn't as happy. I wanted to tell them, but they're always so scary when they're mad. So you think the person you cheated with might be up to something? Yes. Can I ask who they are? Like social media? Yeah. On Twitter. Do you have an idea of what they might want to do? They might just pull a stories on me. Okay, then first things first. If you have any open conversations with this person, any way you can think of, go and screenshot all of it. Our Convo was on my banned account, so I'm locked out. I have a few things already, but that's all I can salvage and use. Okay, a little bit is better than nothing. What I got is pretty alright. I can show you. Sure. Give me a minute then, I'm in the bathroom. Lol, no worries. I'm a stupid kid that gets himself into trouble, aren't I? Most kids do. The internet and cancel culture has just made it so that a lot of what would have ultimately been nothing mistakes can blow way out of proportions, especially if someone is being exposed by another kid. She's 15, case in point. It's a 3-year age gap, yeah. A bit iffy, but we'd been friends for a long time. This wasn't any abuse of power, it was all consensual. Yeah, if you guys were friends for a while, that's more understandable. She's very mentally unstable. All her old friends can tell you stories. Her exes hate her, her old friends hate her. Okay, I got the screenshots. What the heck is with all these crazy 14/15-year-olds? Before we delve deep into the DMs, a few things become pretty clear. For one, Spoctor is obviously hiding the context of parts of the situation. In his hands, he's framing it as a cheating scandal and playing his part as the sweet, innocent victim widowed baby. He even lies by omission saying that Spoctor is 15, which is true at the time, but she was 14 when he was messaging her, which would obviously sound much worse. His guilt is evident from the way he talks about the situation. It's yet more confirmation of Spoctor's constant lies, and something to keep in mind through this first conversation. Ponder's reaction is pretty blasé though, all things considered. She's heard that Spoctor dated a mentally ill, socially isolated 15-year-old, and her reaction is to put more blame on the girl for being crazy rather than Spoctor. Already, she's subtly putting him in the victim position, without even questioning Spoctor's side of it. Anyways, let's read on. I don't know. Send over the screenshots when you're good. Okay, never mind. The guy finally responded. What'd he say? They're trying to get police involved. Question mark? On what grounds? They're just trying to track me? I don't know. No idea. I've deleted all the pictures. Track you? I guess. Well, even if they did manage to go to the cops, for one thing, the cops would want to see the entire chat. Maybe not all cops are super tech savvy, but they're usually very concerned about getting a conviction, so they're going to focus on elements of the case that would prevent that. Are the pictures in question sexual in nature? What do you mean? You said you deleted all the pictures. What were the pictures? Yeah, sexual in nature. Okay. Was it both parties sending pictures? Yes. Do you remember if she asked for them? Of course, yeah. Okay, then she's falling into the same trap that Stories put herself in. If she were to go to the cops to try and get you for that, she'd have to show the entire chat, which would just expose her asking for the same thing. Okay, I don't think this is how this works. If the minor is asking for stuff, that doesn't really excuse the whole... whatever. Any idea what state this person lives in? Oh, wait, so is she going to police? A police in training. Oh, okay, that's a tad telling, but alright. From some dude in a Discord server. That sounds suspicious as all hell. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to get over this period of my life now. How long ago did you guys share pictures? I'm 18, I gotta grow the fuck up. How long ago? Just after I turned 18 was the last time. So you sent pictures after you turned 18? No, I was kinda hesitant in that, but she sent something. Did you ask for her to send something? Stupid me. Yeah, that's gonna be a bit of a problem. I know, but I'm not doing that anymore. I'm asking everybody their age before I talk to them. That's good at least. Okay, so from what I can tell so far, the fact that you destroyed the pictures is a good thing. I'm not sure how things would be handled across country lines. I'm also not entirely sure if there's some law that protects minors who are in a relationship with another minor before one turns 18, and how the sending of pictures is covered under that. I imagine that it will be specifically your state laws that come into play here, so you might want to look into that. Alright, thanks Ponder. No worries, though seriously kid, you really gotta stop with the online photos. Even with people your age, you don't know who you can trust with stuff like that. And if you're going to keep growing your YouTube channel, stuff like that is definitely something you want to avoid. I understand, I need to chill out. Impulsivity takes over me, it's in my blood. Maybe have a little sticky note on your computer screen to remind you when you get lost in something. Okay, dude, first off, that advice is killing me. Put a sticky note to remind you. What's he gonna write there? Don't jerk it with kids? From these DMs, it's already kind of annoying how much Ponder is already putting on Spooder. Without even trying to contact her for a side of it, Ponder has inferred she's a crazy suspicious ex with tendencies of false accusers. I don't want to be too harsh because it's easy to be a hindsight Andy and look back on this with what we know now. She did not know all that we do, but from what she did know, her actions seem really puzzling and really biased. I understand a lot of context has been taken out of it, but it seems as if she's taking Spoctor at his every word. The one time she does challenge him, he admits to getting nudes from a 15-year-old. Let's go ahead to the next set of messages, this time on the 16th of December. This was when Shy Girl was going around with information about Spoctor. Someone's trying to out me for that I talked to you about a couple of months ago. Checked back on the chat to refresh. So this is about that person? Like yes, but the kick is she's not the one accusing me. I'm legit now on good terms with... Someone else is trying to get me on her behalf. Nothing has come of it yet, but I just wanted you to keep your eyes peeled. Turkey Tom DM me about it. Ah, okay then. It's dumb. I'm gonna try and settle it privately and be done with it once and for all. I mean, usually people speaking on someone else's behalf when not asked to do so is XD. That's probably the best option. Keyword try. Apparently she hates me a lot. Why? And has stated before that she wishes I would die and wants to watch me burn. What the fuck? Oh yeah, it's cause she had feelings for me and I didn't return them. Is this person also a young teenager? Cause that kinda sounds like a teenager's extreme. She's my age, 18 or 17. Not sure which one, I think 18. God, I'm just so not a fan of that. They didn't want to date me, so let me ruin them. Yeah, it really shows how invested you were in liking them as a person, XP. Ha, I'ma try. Fingers crossed that it goes well, man. They blocked me. ... I'm hoping you managed to screenshot/save the conversation leading up to that point. There was none. Image attachment. So there's at least an admittance that she's not listening to both sides? Oh my god. I can't even speak on the double standard that's being presented here. Yeah. Is she saying anything publicly? No. Alright, well, I guess at this point, if she's not saying anything publicly, the best course of action is to try and keep an eye on her. Maybe if you're aware of someone else who knows her, or you know what kind of circle she runs in, you can contact people in those circles to try and either re-establish contact, or try and hear what she's up to. I don't know her social media, but she's trying to get big YouTubers on it. Of course she is. God, like the same tactics too. I imagine that's how Tom heard about it. Yes, that's how we find out. Image attachment. But yeah, we're dealing with this type of person. See if they can get screenshots of the conversations where this girl admits that she hates you and wants to ruin you. That shows a premeditated bias. Bro, how are you speaking about premeditated bias when this conversation is so biased towards Spoctor already being on his side and talking about, oh, they don't want to listen to both sides, as if you made any attempt to contact the other side in the previous conversation. I can't believe this. She's messy. Like, it's along the same lines as a certain someone going in and trying to craft evidence to fit her already decided narrative. I imagine we don't know exactly how much this girl has, or what exactly she's trying to use. Image attachment. I know what she's trying to use, I just don't have the material itself. Image attachment. God, this was like a year ago. I'm gonna grab a screenshot of her bias. Is there any way to get an expanded version of these screenshots? Because it doesn't inherently showcase who she's talking to, and the context for the rest of the potential conversation is removed. Right. 2 image attachments. Damn, I wish I could nab more context, but they're on my banned account. Oh, okay. You know any other server she might be in? I'm working with a mutual of hers, who she vented about me to a lot, and he hates her now, lol. Oh, pfft. So he can provide more screenshot context, I'm guessing, to really substantiate her dislike of you. Yes. Okay, that's good. I'm asking him specifically to nab the one of her saying she wants to take me down. Image attachment. There is this. What website is this on? Twitter. Email me about this. Ah, okay. But I never actually found the DM. I still have the email. Okay, good, keep that. Okay, so her Twitter is... Let me check. Likely. Oh, well I found the DMs. Question mark. Image attachment, image attachment. I sent a DM and got blocked instantly. You should know lots of people associate their level of happiness with you. I'm getting really bad vibes from that one line alone. Okay, well screenshot all the DMs with that account, just to be sure. Even if it seems innocuous, having a full log is good. Image attachment. He came through. Not sure if implying you're an incel, XD. Lol. Speaking totally candid though, the wording for a few of this girl's messages does sort of make me think that she might not be entirely emotionally stable. She's not. Maybe go through as many of your accounts as you can and try to find any interactions you had with her. Even if most of it was on your deleted account, we might still be able to piece things together. If there's any sort of indication that she's unstable, and that's causing her to blame you / vilify you for things within her life, and that's her reasoning behind trying to go after you, at the very least it calls any sort of claim she might make into question. I'm not generally fond of that tactic, but in this case, it looks like that's actually probably a thing, and the possibility of it should not be ignored. Image attachment. Should I? Image attachment. If you're going to message her, don't come out with anything that sounds potentially threatening. It might just spur her on. Indicating that she has stuff in the past that she wouldn't want revealed is something she could easily interpret as you threatening to reveal her past if she doesn't shut up about you, which she could potentially use against you. Should I clarify that I'll defend myself? Image attachment. Think. I want to get through to her. That's all my goal is. Okay, in that case, clarifying the potential need for defense might be a mistake. It could just cement in her mind that there's something you need to defend against. Try to be as open and receptive within the message as possible, and really lean on a willingness to talk and hear what she has to say. What you're attempting to do here isn't going to work well for either of us. I'm willing to talk things out though. There is just a huge gaping hole in her past that you want to dig out and I want to move past. You have my attention now. I'm here if you want closure. I will not yell and I'll talk with you. I've gone through a lot of changes now that I've left the circle of the internet, and I feel it's right for us to hear each other. Thoughts? Image attachment. Oh, youch. This doesn't prove much though. Yeah, that sounds good. Did her Twitter just... That's also so weird, seeing that this was from February, and yet she drew you fan art in January. What? Oh my god. Okay, welp, screenshotting now. What? What happened? I have the page loaded already. I was on her Twitter already. Did she delete her Twitter? So even though it's gone now, I can use the loaded page. Maybe? Yes, well, give me a bit, I'll send stuff to you. Damn, she did. It's gone. If she did, then that's both good and bad, because now she has no surface level digital footprint. Yeah, anyways, I recorded the main Twitter page. Unfortunately, I couldn't see her tweets and replies, nor could I go into her media, but there was at least one fan art piece from January that was seen, and another from earlier, which wouldn't have been included. Also, Dulu says hi. Hi Dulu. Ponder then sends a media file link to a file named 2019-12-16 underscore 19-06-42.mov. Surprisingly, I enter this link into my browser, and it still actually works, and there's a recording link to it. Here's that recording.
Recording. Done. And we can go through...
Hear me. I'm really gay, I'm sorry.
We'll just scroll through this whole thing. Spank me, mommy, I've been a bad Nazi? Alright.
What?
That was one of her tweets.
No, I know that, but like, why though?
I don't know.
Why does this person like the things that I like?
Okay. So, I think we can mostly probably just go to 2017? Oh, god damn it. Okay, that's as far down as I can go.
That's it.
Alright, so can I see tweets and replies? Nope!
People
Can I go back?
People
Nope.
I hate are
Alright.
not allowed to like the things that I like.
That's all we got.
Spoctor, thank you. Ponder. Here's the recording of the Twitter. Figured it would be easier than screenshotting. Alright, here you go. I request you don't interact with it unless we have to, but I felt like you'd want to see when they try to strike me. You can give me personal thoughts if you wish, but yeah, Lamau. And then Spoctor sends Ponder a drive link titled accusations.mp4, and that signifies the end of this conversation. Again, this is all Ponder gathering evidence for Spoctor in preparation, and coaching him on how to respond so he doesn't annoy her. She's directly advising him on how to respond. I mean, she says Shy Girl doesn't sound emotionally stable, and then coaches Spoctor on how to find her being emotionally unstable to smear her credibility. Spoctor and Ponder were so intertwined on this particular issue that he sent his pre-prepared defense video against Spooder's allegations, which I didn't even know fucking existed until now. And that's telling. On at least the 30th of December 2019, Ponder was aware of Manus' video. In the DM, she seems to agree with the take that what Spoctor was doing was bad, presuming she didn't already see it in these lost images. But put yourself in Ponder's position for a second. You've been talking to Spoctor, knowing he has new allegations long before this video came out. Spoctor came into your DMs, asking for advice, and you gave it. You knew that Spoctor solicited nudes from this underage girl, and that she was some mentally ill, socially isolated teen, facing an 18-year-old prone to impulsive sex, but you brush that off and say it's another warning, another learning moment. Spoctor then asks you to help, and you advise him on how to handle and smear the typical crazy ex. Then a video comes out that shows Spoctor admitting his crimes to this girl, as well as his sexual conversations when he had turned 18, and him admitting to crushing a flash drive. You later learn that Spoctor admitted to having sexual pictures of her when she was 13 on that flash drive. Spoctor has been far more of a freak than you ever imagined. He lied to you to obscure that, and now he's begging you for another conversation. What do? Well, obviously, don't talk about it publicly, and let Spoctor back into your personal server. Let me introduce you all to the Fiendish Cavern. This was a private Discord server owned and ran by Sprocket, and essentially a hangout for her and her friends. When Manus' video on Spoctor first came out, an emergency call was summoned on the server on January 3rd, 2020. The creators involved were Faghost, Junkie, Sprocket, Ellie Momeli, Caden Monroe, Chaos55T, Manga Carmen, and V Omega. In this call, all these people were told of Spoctor admitting to having illegal material, and they came away from the whole situation thinking they could not defend this. We don't have the call recorded, but Manga Carmen's chat messages, as he had no mic, tell the whole story. Okay, we need to talk about something. I could use some help in here. What happened? Spoctor actually did a bad. I'm trying to keep myself calm right now. Thankfully I'm listening to music. ... Sighs. God, today's been a rollercoaster of emotions. Jesus Christ. My mic's not working for some reason, but Jesus Christ. I do not blame the anger, Ponder. Well, thanks for that quick summary. Slaps forehead, shakes head. Well, that's an interesting way to start the year. Yup, well, what we can do is address it fully. Yup. I do think that what we should do is publicly say that we cannot defend this. I'm not saying same. Cut that out. Hell. Give me a sec, trying to calm myself down. What? I saw it already like a few days ago. Their new comment literally is them saying, don't let the CC know this, you'll be a victim of their antics when they come at you, they can't accept the proof. Also, I have Spoctor's old/deleted account added to my friends list. The said deleted user does not match up with his. His deleted icon was bright teal and goes by a different code. Chaos, we're in the call. He did it. I have it confirmed that he did it. I told her it's fine. Ah, okay. Oh, yikes. The other person in this group chat was Chuli, who I'm not going to be as harsh on because she was under 18 at the time, and also the person who eventually blew the whistle on this all, gave me all the information, which I really appreciate. It isn't just that aspect though of whistleblower immunity. I think it's much harder for most people under 18 to handle situations of this nature. Anyways, from what we can see, it seemed as if everyone pretty much knew this was wrong. They all seemed like they couldn't defend this. But as Chuli told me, no one wanted to make the first move. Everyone here was very much in Ponder's orbit and took the follow the leader mentality. And I guess tunes change, as evident from Chuli being seemingly sent over to parlay with Spoctor on the 12th of February. Hello? Hellos. Yucky adult talk, lol. So this is very awkward to say, and I don't even know if I'm using my best judgment in telling you this, but I think it'd be better if you know beforehand. But back when that was happening last month, she was having a really hard time thinking of what to do and went to FC about it. She in this conversation is Sprocket. So we kind of all know what happened, but FC? Fiendish Cavern, the server. Oh yeah, we all agreed that, like, it was bad, but we all thought it was best that you weren't, like, persecuted for it. I figured as such. I'm pretty sure she'll let you back in, but I just wanted to let you know, instead of you finding out on your own and being really confused and worried. Who is able to let me in? Only Ponder. I can let her know right now if you want me to. Yeah, go ahead. Alrighty. Okie dokie, I went ahead and let her know. God, my anxiety always spikes when the topic is brought up. I'm sorry. It's fine. And so they let Spoctor back into the server and welcomed him back with open arms. I survived. The lizard is back from the war. The war in my mind is still in action. PTSD is a hell of a drug. Haha, good one. Oh geez, there's quite a bit of people in here I know. Welcome back to hell. Here's your hell card, have a good time. Didn't even collect his kneecaps for the tax. Tisk tisk. And that's how it stayed. Spoctor was around in the server, his career remained mainly untouched, and that's because the people involved didn't want to put out the information. In the server, the sentiment was clear. What Spoctor did was bad, but he shouldn't be persecuted online by publishing this information. This wording is idiotic, and I sometimes think it's influenced by past events, because immediately putting Spoctor in the position of the victim is crazy. The callouts would not be persecution, it would be protection for others. Let's acknowledge the other factors into play here. Spoctor was an art commentary channel with over 100,000 subscribers at the time. He primarily made videos on communities filled with children like Gacha Life or the animation meme community. The girl he dated was a mentally ill and socially isolated 14-year-old who he had kept her nudes of from the year before. She was a fangirl of his, and he was still in contact with her. Even later down the timeline, there are still more red flags that should have been acted upon. In 2022, Spoctor opened up and ran a server for minors recovering from an online cult. He ran this public server with a former member of the cult who was a minor, whom he became incredibly close with. My question is, where do you draw the line? In my opinion, I feel that Ponder needs to be held on the same level that Junkie and Feghost have been for the situation. Ponder learned about the situation far before even Manus knew what a Spoctor was, and seemed to view it all as just silly drama. There was not even any attempt to contact the other party, just a full belief of Spoctor's word. Then she helped in a move to smear and discredit the people bringing this up, and when it finally came out that Spoctor wasn't as perfect as he had been, and had obscured some of the facts to her, she failed to act, and even let him back into her server. As much as you want to have a go at Julie, Ponder, who was much older than her, had the final say. She was the only person who could invite people into the server. She even continued to have conversations with Spoctor privately for at least another year. Even if you don't think that these people were obligated to put this out against Spoctor when he was still active, why didn't she tell people after he'd already been exposed? Why is it that after Lyle Convoy asked her about the conversation with Spoctor, she only revealed one part of this, the call they had after the Junkie Feghost call? To be clear, she was holding onto vital information, which is still new looking back today. Remember, Spoctor's main defense to others was that he was still a minor when it happened.
So it just took place between when you were 16 and 17.
And she was 13 and to 14, and she's 15 now.
Yeah. So now you don't have any involvement with any kind of like any of that stuff?
Not with minors, no. Fuck no.
Yeah.
Not with anybody under the age of 18. Fuck no. Because I'm 18 now, I gotta be a fucking adult. Even if they're 17, it's still like, no.
If it was just between you guys when you were like 3 years apart. Minors. Yes.
But yeah, when I was a minor, I had a lot of flings with other minors. I mean, I'm stupid like that. But I'm 18. I'm strictly 18 plus. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's it. Literally, I ask people, like, I don't even make friends with minors anymore.
Why would Ponder stay quiet, offer the silent retweet to Lyle's videos, and slink back into the shadows? Why wasn't any step taken to handle this beforehand? And why did she never tell Lyle after everything was already done? It's striking going back to his video and seeing the comments, again disgusted at Spoctor's constant attempts to contact Ponder like a dog humping a leg. But the reality is that Ponder defending him was just the logical next step in their conversations. Sometimes I forget that she's not young like everyone else in this community, and she's approaching her 30s by now, but that brings up an entirely new perspective. Maybe Ponder just thought what Spoctor was doing was all fine. You may remember Ponder's first Spoctor video from 2018 going at his false allegations. In my first video, I gave this video props for establishing suspicion and giving Spoctor a lifeline. What I didn't mention is that whilst the video seems fairly consistent, the lows it has are abysmal. For example, this amazing clip, which might give her new light to her surprise at how these new 14-15-year-olds were acting. Back in her day of 2018, they were way easier.
And even then, Spoctor is talking to one of his peers. He's talking to another teenager. I had teenage friends in high school who were younger than me that I had dirty and silly conversations with. I still have friends younger than me, some in high school, who like having gross and sometimes sexually gross conversations because it's fun to joke about that stuff. Spoctor was 16 at the time of these conversations. He turned 16 a month before this screenshot was taken. A 16-year-old is allowed to flirt with a 13-year-old. I actually told my mom about how so many people thought a 16-year-old flirting with a 13-year-old was pedophilia, and she couldn't believe how dumb that was.
When a different person who was 13 years old was venting to him, he told them, "Go touch yourself," or something then to them. A 13-year-old. Why the hell would you say that to a 13-year-old?
Considering the knowledge of this is coming to us not from the actual conversation, but from someone's recounting of the conversation, I would like to posit that he was joking to lighten the mood, or that they misunderstood. Also, shut up, I did that at 13, grow up.
Here's probably the worst clip from this entire video. I actually felt I needed to include it in my first one. For context, Spoctor is facing an allegation that apparently he was 16 and acting really weird with a 12-year-old. Ponder's defense isn't to just say this claim is completely baseless. No. Her approach is that if this happened, this is all actually legal and normal, and 12-year-olds and 16-year-olds are in the same age range.
Instead of Spock being the mature one, just saying stop it to a 12-year-old, he lets her basically give him boners and shit. Are you kidding me? The 12-year-old was hitting on him? Something that is legal! This is actually natural. Younger teens tend to be attracted to older teens because they're more physically and mentally developed. You know, the opposite of pedophilia. Guys, the legal defining trait of a pedophile, and I've discussed this before in my Spawn of Cringe video, so if y'all didn't have a problem with it there, you don't get to fucking pick and choose, is someone who is at least 16 years of age and whom is sexually attracted to those at least 5 years younger than them. Was Spoctor actually looking at the 12-year-old? Was he seeing them? Was he getting turned on by their appearance? Or was he getting turned on because someone was feeding into his kink? People who are sexually attracted to children are sexually attracted to a lack of sexual development features. Someone in Spoctor's legal age group feeding into his kink, either audibly or with text, isn't him being attracted to a child! Holy! This is twisting the narrative to the nth degree.
This video is over 1 million views, by the way. I would say these are all unfair to bring up, considering this video was made 7 years ago, but as of a few months ago, Ponder is still hearting comments that praise the video and how good it is, so that only makes me think she still stands by these arguments to this day. It's worth making clear that the only reason we have these DMs is because Ponder relinquished them, but that was after 5 years, and took a confrontation from Chuli and Lyle Convoy for it to ever happen. I should also note I obviously don't think Ponder is a pedophile or a groomer or a predator. Moving on to Junkie and Fairghost, they're freaks, been kind of proven. Next. As for the other people on the server, I think the criticism is mostly fair. I mean, they got confirmation of evidence and claims that were already public at the time. And these people should also hold some responsibility for the fact that Spoctor was welcomed back in with open arms into the server. I want to make it clear, Manga Kamen has since issued a response document and apology video about the whole situation. Ellie Momeli also stated she was very briefly in this call. I think this section mostly applies to Ellie and Manga Kamen actually. I think everyone else in that screenshot has already been run off and exposed as some kind of a sexual degenerate. Alright, listen, we're getting off topic. I want to stick to the theme of Spoctor as closely as possible. For full transparency, let's look at some of the more miscellaneous claims here about who knew. When Lyle Convoy's video finally came out, one person who did reveal everything that he knew was just a robot, or at least everything that he knew according to him. Jar revealed that he had seen Manus' video when it came out, but had no idea of the flash drive or any allegations beforehand. He felt the video was weak because of the lack of verifying evidence and age checks, and actually wrote and edited an entire video going at these new false Spoctor allegations. He was only stopped when he actually told Spoctor he was making a video, and Spoctor basically shat himself, not wanting any attention to come to those allegations. The issue was that Jar already had a video editing sponsor on the video, so Spoctor filled in on short notice and edited an entire video for him. Again, it's telling how far Spoctor would go to minimize attention towards that video. As for Jar, though he seems to be known nowadays for his defenses of nonces, I don't really have any info that he knew anymore. He seems to be very much at the scene of the crime. On the other end, Turkey Tom is a name both mentioned outright in the DMs with Ponder and in Manus' original video. The Ponder DMs seem to paint an idea that the victim came to Tom with some information and he informed Spoctor. The Manus video says that Manus went to Tom and Tom then confronted Spoctor. When researching my original video, I asked Tom if Manus and Shael sent information to him, and he said that whilst he did remember being cordial with Spoctor back in the day, he didn't remember anything about having a conversation about his allegations. The issue with asking if Tom knew is that we have no DMs of Tom's. We don't know what he knew or what was shown by Manus or Spoctor. Tom could have gotten a ton of evidence and a confession, or a simple note in silence. When looking at this kind of stuff, I'm always trying to keep to the mindset of beyond a reasonable doubt, and I can't tick that box here. Hey, it's Future Toastify here. Sometime after editing this video, someone managed to retrieve the actual image attachments from those DM exports, hence why in the readout I have to edit them popping up. One of them that was extracted was this DM between Turkey Tom and Spoctor, where Tom seems to be a sort of middleman between Shael and Spoctor, trying to set up a conversation between them. This is more, but still not much because we don't know what he was told here. We don't know the basis on what he's setting up this conversation for. I had another conversation with Tom, and he stated vague memories of what he heard about Spoctor before. He said that he still couldn't remember a conversation with Spoctor about his allegations, but acknowledged that Spoctor and Manus both saying it, as well as these DMs, signifies that there was a conversation about something. He just doesn't know what. He outright denied knowing anything about Spoctor messaging Spooder or having her nudes on his flash drive. Again, I can't in good faith nail him if I'm not 100% sure he knew. It's worth noting that just like with Julie, Tom was around 17 at this time, and wasn't anywhere as close with him as others were. When researching, I also heard Harley TBS's name come up as someone associated with Fly Die Sky, one of the people who claimed to know about the accusations, and when I asked Harley, they said they only heard of it when Lyra released his video. Harley noted that they were friends with Fly Die Sky a while ago, but didn't hear anything, even though Spoctor and Fly Die Sky were both in Harley's private server. Again, there's no supporting proof or testimony to suspect Harley, so there's really not a lot to say. It's no secret that this video's focus has mostly been on Ponder, and it's hard to shy away from such a subject with how much has been given. It was never the intention, I always just wanted to make a Spoctor video. It seemed like a natural next step after Birdie, but I feel like I can't ignore the amount of ignorance, seemingly willful negligence that was put out here. And what was it all for? Everyone seems to have unanimously agreed that what Spoctor did was bad, so why not let nature take its course? The most generous theory is that it seems a lot of these creators had a long-lasting suspicion from Spoctor's last allegation. Spoctor was the perpetual victim, and he seemed to embody that sort of mentality as time went on. It became a sort of apathy towards it all. It's kind of a living testament how false allegations harm real victims. As for Ponder, I've said it before, but I really don't know if there's any coming back from this, at least for me. It's the fact that she knew what Spoctor had done and still invited him back to her personal server. It's the fact that these pieces of information, Spoctor trying to smear Shael, Spoctor confirming he got nudes before he turned 18, Spoctor describing the girl as mentally ill and socially isolated. These were important pieces of information, and Spoctor's career should have blown up long before it did. Even after the fuse was lit and he's already gone, Ponder didn't even come out with it either, and was even asked about it directly. I mean, the messages are right there. I understand that as time has gone on, Ponder may have drifted away from the internet, but is it really that much of a hassle to just scroll up a little? Ask yourself this one thing: what possible advantage would there be to hold on to this? I keep asking myself if Ponda's motive was blind friendship, pure self-preservation, or just apathy to something she didn't think was a problem. Listen, we could go on about Ponda all day, talk in depth about FCK or Akumu or Feghost or stuff like that, but my intention going into this was to make a Spoctor video, and that's where my stop is. However, I'm obligated to note that the Ponda stuff will probably be spinning into its own kind of hole. Truly is currently working on a much more expansive video regarding Ponda that goes far deeper into her behaviour and the Fiendish Cavern server. From what I've heard, it's a pretty sizable chunk of whatever's coming out. As for me, this is where I hope my sort of Spoctor series ends. It's fascinating how just as Ponda made a career by saving Spoctors, dredging up Spoctor's career may have killed Ponda's. History's got a funny way of working out things. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay safe and stay toasty.